Meg and Chris have, well, let's just say an interesting relationship, and it's only gotten more interesting as the series has went on. So in today's video, I want to tackle the maybe not so lingering question, are Meg and Chris dating? Here's where I would like to ask the question of how far is too far? Just how far can Family Guy take this before it basically has to stop? And it's just too uncomfortable for us to watch. I don't really know, but I'm sure we're going to find out. But let's walk through all of the evidence we have to show that they are actually together. So the first hint we get that Meg and Chris have a weird relationship is in Season 8, Episode 5, Hand Banana, where we find out that Meg and Chris practice kissing. At the time, we all thought, this is just a one-off joke, right? The show moving on from it almost immediately within the episode. Just another example of the shock, gross-out humor that we'd come to know and love from Family Guy and other adult cartoons, right? And I don't know if it was the reception at the time of it happening, or maybe the writers just thought it was funny because shortly after that, they introduced the idea that it's likely that they just said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go for it. And this leads us into the next episode where the show really takes it to the next level, really hitting a home run. In the Season 9, Episode 4, Halloween on Spooner Street. In the episode, Lois makes Chris change his Halloween costume because she doesn't want him walking around in blackface. And I shouldn't have to explain why that's not a good idea for him to do, so fill in the blanks there. However, because he had to change, he does not see Meg's costume, a slutty cat, and we never get to see what he actually changes into. That is till later on when Meg is going to a party and playing a game of spin the bottle with everybody / 7 Minutes in Heaven. And once again, I'm not explaining that one. If you really want to know what it is, go ask your mother or your father or older brother. I don't know. If you don't know what that is, maybe you should rethink watching this video. She ends up getting partnered with a boy in a Optimus Prime costume. Jump cut to Connie and Miko opening the closet so other people can actually, use it and play the game. And Chris and Meg are almost completely naked, making out on the floor. They both freak out, neither of them having seen the other out of the costume before that moment. Meg's saying, "Chris, what are you doing?" Tris goes, "Trying to catch some boob." "From your sister? I didn't know it was you." And Meg finished it off by saying, "Oh my god, we did so much." Pretty much implying that they went all the way. Meaning Chris probably lost his virginity to his sister. Yeah, this is a rough one, guys. This story in the episode pretty much ends with Meg and Chris going home. Chris saying something, Brian goes, "Why do you and Meg smell like sweat and shame?" And Chris starts to kind of make up a lie and then goes, "You know what? I don't care. I hooked up with an amazing woman and I had a great time." And then Meg goes, yeah, I hooked up with a pretty awesome guy too. And I think maybe he'll call tomorrow." Chris looks at her and goes, "You might be disappointed." Couple of takeaways from this. One, seriously, Chris? He heard Meg talking. It's not like she was in a full body costume. To Meg's credit, he said nothing, and you couldn't see him at all, but they also seemed to get over things pretty quickly, and Chris just honestly doesn't seem to care. So I don't know what to say about that, man. Be better, or more observant, or just pay attention in the slide. Anyway, sorry. But now, this would appear to have been where things really kind of took a turn in their relationship, as the very next time we get a mention of it is in Season 12, Episode 14, Fresh Air. We see Peter cleaning Chris's room, and then Meg walks in and says, "Chris, our bath is ready." This leads to an awkward moment where Peter says he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't have the parenting skills to handle this situation. Meg pretty much just says, "I say we never speak of it again," and then Peter goes, "I might move." But now they're taking baths together. Also, Peter knows that this is happening and does nothing about it. How bad a parent can you be here? Although this might actually have played into the factor of Peter making Meg come on to Chris while he's telling the stories in Season 15, Episode 7, High School English. Now, he does end up killing her in the end, but that's just Peter being mean to Meg. But it could just be another subliminal thing to show us there is a relationship. Like maybe this was Peter's way of getting it out. Why this happened 3 seasons later, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is just giving Peter some form of benefit of the doubt. He's honestly not a great parent, guys. But the real closer here is in season 16, episode 3, Nanny Goats, where we see them kissing or about to kiss when Stewie and his nanny are having a chase sequence. Chris even has like a stethoscope on and like a doctor's outfit, like they were role playing. I think the real question here though is there enough evidence to say that they are dating? And honestly, guys, there could be. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. These are very spread out as far as the episode counts, as you guys can tell. And God, it would just be so weird if they were. But, I mean, it might just be is what it is thing. They might actually be together. At least this is my theory, is that this was weird subplot going on. But all of this is if we are seeing Meg and Chris in these instances. Like I've said in other videos, Meg was killed and replaced by a clone. What if Chris found out about the clone and he's been dating the clone? Still wrong, still looks like his sister, but maybe it wasn't like an exact clone. Maybe it's just like a doppelganger, like a duplicate. Maybe they're not exactly related. But this doesn't exactly work, seeing as Meg wasn't replaced until season 15, episode 20, A House Full of Peters. So things have been going on long before she was replaced. The other saving grace is Chris presently might be a robot. And we find that out in season 21, episode 16, The Bird Reich. And this doesn't help us at all either, does it? Being well after all the instances that I have listed, showing a relationship forming between the two of them. Well, it still may not be Meg and Chris. See, we find out in season 11, episode 2, ratings guy, that Chris will use a body double named Mike to get out doing things with the family, and we really don't know how long he's been doing this for, or if he is even still doing it. But just to make things a little less weird with the Griffin children, what if after Meg and Chris hook up on Halloween, Chris pretty much moves on immediately? It was a mistake, we're just moving on. Meg, however, is shown multiple times to become way overly attached to anyone who shows her even the slightest bit of kindness, let alone someone she is actually attracted to. Now, the two of them always have each other's backs and have a very close sibling relationship, with Chris only truly being mean to her when the rest of the family is around, probably as a coping mechanism so that way he doesn't become the new Meg. But knowing Meg has these feelings for him and not wanting to hurt his sister, Chris might have actually introduced Meg to Mike. And Mike and Meg start dating and continuing the relationship in secret, but also this way the rest of the family does not find out about Mike. It might even just be a casual thing, as Meg is shown to still be looking for a relationship, and Chris is pretty much free to be himself. Also, Meg might still call Mike Chris, because let's just face it, Meg does have a lot of issues. Outside of her family problems, Meg has issues. So this way, we don't get the weird brother-sister relationship that seems to be going on in the background of Family Guy. Let me know, what do you guys think? Are they dating? Is Meg dating Mike? Or is this a completely irrelevant background gag that I put way too much thought into and the writers just think it's funny so they keep bringing him back? Please let me know in the comments down below, and while you guys are down there, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you never miss another video from me. And if you made it this far, I truly thank you. This was a rough one to get through, and I will see you guys in the next video.